Hi Gutter Pixies, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a video about Aliyah core and the mall goth aesthetic. We're going to break down the aesthetic, where it came from, its origins, and what it actually means to be called a mall goth. Isn't the epitome of being dark and mysterious basically just standing outside of a Hot Topic with a Monster energy drink? Today we're diving into the world of the mall goths, the spooky smeared eyeliner teens of the 90s and the 2000s who lived at the mall, worshipped Marilyn Manson, and basically created one of the most iconic subcultures of all time. Today we're going to dive into what mall goth actually is, why it's controversial in the goth community, and why it's emerging on TikTok, high fashion runways, and in e-girl fashion. So grab yourself a pair of trip pants off of Depop for $300, grab your Monster energy drink, and let's dive into it. The punks of the 90s and the 2000s were being very rebellious not only with their fashion choices, but with their ideals. Traditional goth culture came from the 70s and 80s post-punk scene. Underground clubs, obscure bands, DIY fashion, and anti-consumerist ideals. This was about music and philosophy, not shopping. What most people don't know about the mall goth aesthetic is that it was kind of a bad thing to be called a mall goth in the 90s and the 2000s. It basically meant that you didn't align with the ideals of the communities who created the aesthetic to begin with. In the late 2000s, we saw a decline in the mall goth aesthetic, and the emo aesthetic really took over. The emo scene really popped off in the 2000s with the emergence of MySpace, and mall goth kind of dwindled into the background until it recently re-emerged around 2020. Let's talk about mall goth and how it's emerging in e-girl fashion and on TikTok. I would say one of the top creators who does the mall goth aesthetic so perfectly would be Aliyah of Aliyah Core. She's coined her style Aliyah Core, and I want to give her all the credit to that. But it is heavily inspired by e-girl fashion and mall goth fashion. We're gonna start with this outfit right here. Something that really popped off in the modern mall goth aesthetic was those chunky demonia boots. Those became so popular around the time of the pandemic, around the time of 2021, where mall goth was re-emerging. And most mall goth pictures, if you look up just a Google of mall goth, most of the outfits, people will be wearing those demonias in the picture. Something that is very mall goth about this entire look is all of the layering, the mini skirts, the different tights, the different accessories, and this is really how people were doing the mall goth aesthetic once it re-emerged. I also fell victim to the emergence of the mall goth aesthetic. I bought the demonia boots and I tried my best to be mall goth. I will include a couple pictures of my mall goth phase. So that's it for today's video. That's pretty much everything I know about mall goths. I'm very passionate about different fashion subcultures, how they re-emerge and influence each other. So stay tuned for more videos. Bye, Gutter Pixies!